being yourself with integrity while also flawed and unconditionally loving. That's when the beloved you is welcomed in your own mind, and therefore you tame your own wind. And with that sense of self in the forefront and your whole inner child parts, and that lens, if you have, for example, a BPD lens, knowing, for example, that as our lovely Dr. Daniel Fox informs us, the abandonment in BPD can sabotage their relationships because imagine trusting someone less when they are kind to you, which is what a person who is unaware of their BPD lens will actively engage in. And so, again, with a empowered brain and empowered people and open hearts come Pachas, IHP, secular and spiritual self-help, 5D mystic, enlightenment soul age group. And again, when you are mindfully aware of you, that's when your journey begins. And when you are unconditionally loving of you, that's where you are ready for spiritual and self-help, because we do know that darkness, it is not about Lucifer, demons, and all of that, which apparently, again, quite disappointing to find that the individuals who claim to be divine feminines, actively channelers, actively a part of the same faith and same energy that I know of, and so does Sadhguru. And Sadhguru is a perfect example of somebody who's truly spiritual, welcoming all, not being a flat line. So the flat liners, they actively are quite to a pure piece of consciousness, they're missing out on the bliss and the light. They actually haven't gotten to their right mode yet. Their left mode is leading the way, and they're not accepting that human secondary consciousness component of actively embracing, like an expert yogi, darkness, which, again, it's not something that you're afraid of. You actively say, wow, I know that I'm a part of dark matter, dark energy, and that I can venture off into that which is my spirituality, but that it is not provable. Just like true scientists know that 97% of what is out there is unavailable to them. And so they don't create fixed hypotheses that have no way to keep on looking for. No, they know actively, they're a discerning bunch of people, the smart ones, that they don't know everything. So they consistently build different types of, and then anyways, that's long story short. So we get to be ourselves and know this thing about darkness. So if a person has a shame button, that's the unfortunate business if they don't get out of their unresolved trauma stuff. And so if they don't know their sense of self, it's because they don't know their solo self, their core, their narrative, their relational. So they won't be able to embark on that self-help. They'll say it's crap, it's bullshit, it's pseudoscience people. They don't have their emotions. They want it to be laundry. No, they feel that it's heavy. So as long as you feel heavy, your body, that's where, again, first you get to be your inner child by reparenting with good therapists. And then you do self-help, personal development, and you are embarking finally on that spirituality journey for those of you who are. It's because you are connected finally to the higher self. Only once your teenager is not leading the room, which is why one of your first choice points will be whenever you have been met with that so-called unkindness, once you move from looking to your household to being a person who creates relationships, so your societal soul age group, or your societal system. We have an attachment system, and it's either social or societal system that comes online. These are smart people that teach me these words. I forget them. Okay, so mine, like yours, as an adolescent, and we look to our peers. And then we look to our new allo parenting group, which is a minimum of 5 people. And that means you'll be with people who you have as your safe haven, secure base. If you're establishing, obviously, a secure attachment relationship, that's polyamory, monoamory, doesn't matter, okay? Your first choice point is how you handle that. And then you'll keep moving forward and having relationships that way. So like in my case, I don't change. This is Maria, and here's what I am. And I give you a list. And that's when you say yes or no. And if you come back around and say, I thought you would change, which has happened 4 years later, as I'm getting broken up with though, so it's okay. But I'm like, did I hear you right? And so whenever anyone, maybe you should change, I actively told you I don't change and I like and want to be welcomed by people as I am. So I've had these conversations and it's very funny, yes, when people look and they respond to you with the opposite of what you just told them, which is I don't want to change, I want to be accepted. And, so anyways, long story short, people who don't hear themselves, it's pretty common with Cuscos, the adaptive child. So they're being a self, but they don't really actively participate mindfully to the words they're speaking. So I try to mindfully be aware, accountable, and regulating, and then I speak to you. And as a mystic, I just wanted to share about this as well with our bit of channeled guidance and integrating it all at this last minute of daylight. Apophis, darkness. The existence of Apophis is necessary for the balance of the world itself. We can consider it struggle between two opposing energies with the risk of a no return, which is also known in our ancient ancestors as that clash between the good and evil stuff. But our smart people are talking about no person is inherently good or evil because they will have been determined. Their first 3 years of life and their first years of life and their unconscious has sensations, implicit memory and explicit memory. So we want to remember that in order for distorted perspectives of childhood trauma people, they will first have to reclaim their childhood. And that's why first they fix what was broken, but they're not broken. It's that they were given this shame button with a distortion. So distorted lens, family in the head, is for the borderline personality. That's Dr. Daniel Fox. And as he shares, imagine trusting someone less when they are kind to you. Imagine all is calm and you're getting hypervigilant and agitated and you actively go and look for fights. And then you think, well, they've proven that by fighting and coming back together, we love each other. And then they keep doing this and they keep on testing. This is a type of test. Once you have your lens, you know, okay, I'm not going to test people because this is Dr. Daniel Fox, how a abandonment and BPD can sabotage relationships. So people that have BPD, they also have abandonment and rejection wounds. And so when they work with a good therapist, they know how to present, hey, here's my lens. Here's actively what happens. And here. They'll have a detailed way to tell you all of this. And so I would love to walk a walk and talk a talk with you. And when I share my maladaptive, please chime in effectively and immediately, not later. And let's work on open communication. That's it. And so people walk together easily when we are emotionally, mentally, and physically ourselves. That's mindful, mind, sight, and mindset. And because we're functional adults who love infinitely and beyond, it's because we love ourselves with flaws and imperfections with integrity. So we respect each other. We don't change each other. That is where we're at. So we don't talk about this good evil stuff between people, especially not an actual divine feminine who has a relationship with the feminine, the creator, Akash, essence of love, life, bliss, all of that. So when you see a flat line, they're there for the people who are on the path to enlightenment with loss and pain. And just let's leave that for now, for today, as I want to conclude so you can see me a little bit better until tomorrow. Apophis threatens your balance. So the people who get stuck in shame cycles with neuroplasticity as their primary agent, it's imagination. If they do rumination, that's why they don't get to earned secure attachment, get out of all those charged states, get into their higher self, get into becoming a functional adult, and so on and so forth. Instead, here, we know all about it, and we get to do it one by one. We heal relationships, and that's because we get to also know how repairing ruptures is easy. So you heal relationships where there is trauma, emotional splinters, all this beautiful stuff, and so on. So Eric, I have a tail. Okay, so on and so forth. Okay, if you live in blindness, the path you take is opposite to that which is right. Immediately reverse your course and empty yourself so as to become a recipient of forces before reaching the point of no return. Emptying yourself, though, you want to understand trauma charges. You want to witness, appreciate, welcome, speak, and then you get to embody more of you. Remember that your 1-year-old, your 2-year-old, your 3-year-old, you are a human being. And all that comes up is part of you as a human. The part about creating a story for our emotions as they arise and using words like laundry, you dehumanize the emotion, which tells me you don't have the capacity yet to have a depth of that. It means like the strength card, it's a lion and a lady in the has her hand in the mouth of the lion. So the way Peter Levine and every good therapist has shared, when you get emotions that come up, a person who brings them back down, meaning they don't welcome that depth, well, it's like a dog biting your hand. I haven't had that happen, but they say you need to put it in the dog's mouth so that they can release the hold and you can and it's like with panic attacks, for example, those I have, and they say you need to suck it up, sit through it, because that way your brain notices and your body, you're not dying, and it does work. It's not fun, but it works. And so, it's not about romanticizing or making it more or less. This is where the way you work with yourself and with people that you love and so on and so forth, you lighten it. So you lighten it because you're creating more resiliency. You're creating more relationship with the depths of your emotional plane because you're human, and it's the mental and emotional, and that's where your physical mastery. And then you're creating more relationship with Akash and oneness. And as an Akashic record reader, I learned all about us mastering these planes. And so, anyways, the light is gone. We're going to be back with more. I get to be half with the sun and half with the moon. We'll do it that way. So here's daylight, here's nighttime, and I get to be feminine, masculine, all together. Look at me. And that actively is what you have. So here's our feminine, divine. Here's our masculine, divine. As I call our left mode our masculine and our right mode our feminine, and that's because they have two different jobs. You get to work with them all together as you do mind, sight, and mindset and mindfulness, here to be yourself with others. And so thank you for stopping by. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back again with more.